Hello and welcome. My name's Louise and I'd like to bring you a video today based on hair toppers, particularly the Claire hair topper from the company UniWigs. I would like to share with you how I live with and manage my thinning hair and how I manage and live with my hair topper on a practical level. Now, this will be a long detailed video based on firstly the hair topper itself and how I've customized it, sharing a little bit of my own hair loss journey, and then we're moving on to 12 different styles we can do with our hair topper, just so that we can sort of share with each other the availability of being able to have what feels like more natural hair. I've worked with hair, false hair extensions, wigs, hair pieces, toppers for years and struggled to find the right one for me. It's kind of a minefield out there when you're buying hair, false hair, whether that be human hair or synthetic. And often my greatest challenge was finding hair that was matched my natural hair colour, because I didn't want it to be obvious that I was wearing hair pieces or a wig. And secondly, the density of the hair. Often when I bought a wig, for example, the hair density was so much, it was too much to handle for my little head. And because I don't have much hair at all, I found that the wigs never fit me. And then I ventured into the world of hair toppers, and wow, did things change. So yes, today will be about how to live with and manage a hair topper so it can feel a bit more like our natural hair. Often in the YouTube videos that I researched and looked into, I would find so much information. Some women out there that slay and master their craft of wig installation, they're absolutely amazing. What they do is admirable. However, as much as I learnt from them, the videos didn't cover a lot of questions I had, and it also was, for me personally, although I could follow their instruction, it didn't match up for me on a practical level, dealing with day-to-day life. I'm a busy mum, I work, and I wanted to find a hair system that allowed me to get on with my everyday life. I tried the wig styles. I tried wearing wigs to my everyday activities, and often I would find they were encompassing, too heavy, too full, too much to manage. They would take me a good hour or maybe two to actually install and make as real as I could possibly look. I just didn't have the time, the inclination, or the skills to create these masterpieces that I could see before me on the YouTube reviews. And please don't get me wrong, I've got the hugest respect for these girls. They are real masters of their craft. However, I couldn't find videos that spoke more to the ordinary girl like me, the one that needed to do the school run or stand on a football pitch and watch my daughter play football, or I teach yoga and ballet bar. I needed somebody to reflect or contemplate or inform me of what it was like to wear hair pieces in these environments. So this is what this video is about today. A little bit of tips here and there on how to style with a topper, and also how to deal with incorporating your own hair if you have some hair, and just to generally sort of cover bases that might not be covered in other reviews. So first of all, I am working with the Claire hair topper from UniWigs. UniWigs is a company in America. I would normally purchase my wigs from companies in the UK. The main reason for this is the ease of it all, the fact that I would get the unit quicker because it was in my country, so the post wouldn't take as long, and often from America it takes maybe between 7 and 10 days. I ordered this from UniWigs and it got to me within 6 days, which is really good actually, and it was tracked, so I was able to keep an eye on its journey to me. This company, I've bought from them a few times and never have I been disappointed. Their toppers, I've never bought a wig from them, I have to say, but their toppers are really good quality. They pretty much cover all the bases of what you want from a topper in its structure. So their bases are of different sizes, offer different ranges of what cover different sorts of hair loss. The density of the hair is natural. It's not really boofy and big, and it's also not straggly and thin at the ends. It's just right, basically. Well, for me anyway, at least. They do a large range of colours and lengths. So this topper that I got for me basically came as a standard 5.5 by 5.5 base, so it's quite a small base, and a colour of 613. So 613 is sort of a standard colour within hair, false hair, whether that be human or a synthetic. The thing about 613 is that it is rather yellow. I find that it's got a real yellow tinge to it, but that is workable. So if you bear in mind that when I first received this topper, it was 613, it was yellow. And the beauty of human Remy hair, which the Claire Topper is that you can colour it. Now, bear in mind you can't bleach the hair. They make this quite clear on the website, but you can colour it. So I personally did my own colouring years and years and years ago, millenniums ago. I did hairdressing, so I have a little bit of experience with colouring and cutting hair. So therefore I chose to take the risk, spend the money on the initial hair topper, and then colour it myself. I perhaps would advise, if you have no experience with colouring or cutting the hair, then take it to your hairdresser. Hairdressers are brilliant with this sort of thing. Nowadays, a lot of them have furthered their education and gone on to learn how to cut, colour and style wigs and hair pieces for people with hair loss. So if your personal hairdresser is perhaps a little bit uneasy about colouring and cutting something you spent so much money on, do seek out and find someone that is professionally trained to do that, because there are people out there that will do this for you. Yes, it's going to be an extra expense. However, for me, it's totally worth it because it makes me feel better. Obviously, also UniWigs do offer a customization service, so you can actually request what you want from your hair topper. You can send them colour swatches of your hair or photographs, and they can customize the colour for you. I'm not 100% sure, but they perhaps might even be able to cut it into a style for you as well. If not, again, your hairdresser will be able to do that. I, on the other hand, ordering from America, obviously I was nervous firstly of the fact that because if I paid for customization, I might not be able to return it if there's anything wrong with it, and of course it's America, so it's a long way to mess about, faffing about, reposting and waiting weeks and weeks and weeks, etc. So I went ahead and did it myself. So bear in mind that not only did I colour the hair, but I also added a few tape-in extensions to the actual topper, because the Claire Topper provides a lot of coverage for the front and the sides, but there's not so much coverage on the back. Now this would work for someone that's got hair from the crown downwards. It's a great topper for that. It just helps to cover the crown, sides and front if you've got hair loss around the front of your head. So what I did is, to give me a little bit more coverage around the back, and I will show you this in a little while, is I added just a row of tape-in extensions to the actual topper hair, and this helped to fill out the back a little. I also have a couple of rows of tape-in hair extensions in my natural hair. Now, the reason I did this was to bridge the gap between where the topper ends to where my hair is. I've got short, thinning hair at the back, so about shoulder length, so I needed to bridge the gap here a little bit. So I did this with tape-in hair extensions. Another reason for that is I'll show you in a wee while, is that when I'm not wearing my hair topper, I can then just pull my hair up and I've got a little pony or a bun to work with when I'm doing the school run, or I'm rushing to work and I haven't had time to style my hair. You can, if you're like me and you don't have that hair underneath to match up, you don't have to tape or glue any extensions into your natural hair. You can use clip-in hair extensions, or perhaps a halo hair extension on the wire, so that just fills this area here. So as you can see, after colouring, adding a little bit of density to the back with some tape-in extensions, giving it a wash, blow drying and tussle curls with a wand, along with my own little tape-ins at the bottom, I have managed to create this lovely shaggy beach style, and it looks kind of natural. I balayage through the hair. Again, you can look up on YouTube for the balayage technique or smudge root technique. Again, if you don't have experience with colour, I would suggest going to your hairdresser. They can work with the base colour and go from there. I also like to sort of, this is one of the things, excuse me, this is one of the things that I had problems with when I was watching videos on YouTube as a general rule, was there was certain questions I had that might seem a bit daft, but were never really answered and would make all the difference to me when I was wanting to purchase something. So for example, can I tuck this behind my ear? Can I tuck it behind my ear? Yeah, I can. Look at that. I can tuck it behind my ear and it feels natural. It feels like my own hair. That would make all the difference to me, to whether I would purchase a unit or not, to whether I can tuck it behind my ear. And in my experience with wigs versus toppers, to tuck a wig behind your ear, you have all this bulk of hair and it's very difficult. And often with a wig, you've got the wig coming up here and around the ear. And what I would find with wigs is that, oh, they dig into the back of my ears. No matter, I've tried standard caps, I've had wigs made for me in the past, tailor-made to my head size, and they've still bothered me in these areas. So with a topper, because there isn't anything here to deal with, tucking behind the ear is there. It's fabulous. It makes it feel more like it's my natural hair. The other thing that I wanted to know about when I was wearing a topper is, can I style it? I don't always want to wear my hair down like this. I want to be able to transition from a down hairstyle to an up hairstyle out and about in my everyday life, like you would with your natural hair. I don't want to have to spend time and energy in front of a mirror to go from one style to another. So this was really important for me, and now I've spent a lot of time experimenting with toppers and wigs to see if I can style them in a jiffy. Can I go to lunch with one of my friends with my hair all lovely and tousled and down, and then jump in my car, go to work and pull it back so that I can teach yoga in it, without having to even maybe come to a mirror and deal with all the aspects of styling and getting it right and back mirrors and everything else. I wanted that ease. So this video is about finding that. We're looking at a few points. We're looking at comfort, which is so important. You know, I've often found this. I've put on some fabulous wigs. I've had top of the range human hair wigs right down to very affordable synthetic wigs, and comfort for wigs for me is one of the hardest things to find. It can look amazing, but does it feel amazing? No. So ear tags digging in, pressure on the back, it's glued to my forehead, so there's this pressure here. Yeah, comfort is key. And then working with ease. How easy is it to manage this hair? Can I work from quick hairstyles and transitions when I'm out and about? If it's all getting a bit too much around my shoulders, can I pin it back? You know, those sort of elements, that's what I wanted to know from it. Does it look natural? Can I make it look like my own hair? Often people enjoy wearing wigs because they make them look different. They might wear them for fashion reasons. You know, that's fabulous. Wigs are so much fun. But I find personally, for me, a wig does not look natural on my head, no matter how much money I spend on it. It's just the journey I've been down. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Perhaps I am. I haven't spent enough time learning to slay my wig. However, they still don't look natural to me. Whereas this topper, well, personally, this is the most natural looking topper I've ever come across. And then obviously, not only does it look natural, but does it feel natural? Does it flow? Does it get a bit scraggy in the wind? You know, does it natural hair is not sleek, shiny in place all the time. It reacts to the elements. Is that going to happen with my topper? Am I going to be able to feel like it's natural as well as it look like it's natural? The other thing is the sort of practicality of it. Again, if you're spending time in front of a camera and you've fixed it perfectly and you're just spending that time to do a review, then that's great because you're just sat in front of the camera. You're not really moving your head much. You might sort of show where it's attached and things, but the reality is you're not stood at the side of a football pitch with the wind blowing in your hair, or you're not teaching yoga, or you're not down the pub with your friends, or you're not out shopping at Tesco's. These are the things I wanted to know. Is it practical? Can I use it practically? Will it still look natural if I'm sweating in my activities such as fitness or yoga? Will it still look natural after spending an hour on a freezing cold football pitch with my daughter? These are the answers I wanted. And then lastly, confidence. Yeah, am I going to feel confident in this? And not only confident with how it looks and that I can disguise this false hair, but the confidence to get on with my day without worrying about, is it visible? Can people tell I'm wearing a hairpiece? Everywhere I go and everyone I talk to, are they looking at my part? Can they see the lace attached? Have I got bumps in the back? Can they tell? And it's that confidence that I've been striving for my whole hair journey with hairpieces, is the confidence to forget about the fact that I'm wearing a hairpiece. If you suffer with hair loss, you're already dealing with the daily trauma that is hair loss. And I think anyone that hasn't experienced any hair loss, you know, as much as my friends are extremely sympathetic and understanding, my family are too, people don't quite understand. And I've often said to people, if you can spend one day with my natural hair and tell me that you felt okay all day with it, getting on with your everyday life, then I'll give up the goat and I'll stop moaning about my hair. Because I don't think people actually understand, as much as they want to, how it feels. It is incredibly traumatic losing your hair, for a man or a woman, particularly for women, I think, because hair is very much attached to our beauty. You know, I've danced most of my life. Hair is an extension of your movement. You know, when you swing your head around, your hair gives you that extra expression. Just little things like that, you know, can strongly affect it. Not only that, with my hair loss, I've experienced through my journey an incredibly sore scalp. That's horrible too, you know, dealing with that. Sometimes when my hair's wet and I brush a comb through it, I feel the prickles of the comb on my scalp, and it feels like there's nothing there. It's traumatic, it's depressing. You know, hair loss is extraordinarily difficult, and if any of you out there watching this and you're experiencing those things, that's what I'm hoping to do today, is try and give you a little bit of hope, or a little bit of sort of understanding that I've totally been there, still am there, and the journey is long and arduous, but it's also, you know, when you crack it and you find a product that works for you, then it can change things completely for you. So this product is the Claire Topper, like I say. Now I'm going to take it off in a moment and show you the spec of it. So do bear in mind that I have customized this topper. This is not how the topper came. It came straight with 613 colour, and they're beautiful toppers, lovely density of hair, about 130% density, and it's very, very lightweight. It's got 4 clips, it's got a wefted section and also lace, but I'll show you all that in a moment. So firstly, the UniWigs topper comes in a little box. So these boxes are fabulous. If you don't have sort of a wig head or a mannequin head that you can pop your topper on for safekeeping, these are great to keep and store your unit. Okay, so in the box it comes wrapped in tissue, in a hairnet, and you also get a set of spare clips. So it's a good idea to know how to sew in your clips. You might want to add some extra clips to it, you might want to take clips out. So it's a good idea to know how to sew these in properly. And also you get a little booklet, a little thank you booklet. In here gives you all the details about your unit, how to wash it, store it, style it, perhaps even colour it. So yeah, pretty much everything you want to know is in this little Bible here. Okay, so that's the little box it comes in, and gives you, like I say, a little storage place for it. All right, so let's have a look at the unit itself. So I have some hair, and as you can see, I've left my natural hairline out there. With the part here, sometimes I find the parts a little bit hard to match up. That's one of the greatest struggles with wearing lace parting in front, is to try and match it up to natural hair. So what I tend to do is I zigzag the hair over the part, so I've not got to worry about matching it up too much. So you can see there's a part there, but it's not as obvious. And I leave a little bit of my front hair out. So this would be my hairstyle down. Like I say, I can tuck it behind my ears, and even in this style, if it gets a bit much, I've got to walk the dogs, for example, I want to keep my hair topper on, I can just pull it back and tie it in a ponytail, and it's pulled back and it still looks real. We'll go on to some styles in a little while, but I just wanted to show you the ease of the initial transition. Okay, so let's just take this off. So we unclip the 4 clips that are attached to it, and then very safely start to draw the topper off so you're not tearing at any of your own natural hair. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that aside a second, and this is me. It's hard living with very thin hair like this. I know I've got more hair than some with hair loss, so I've got something to work with, but I've got very thin hairline. I've got thinning and balding patches coming around the top, around my main parting, and all around the sides. And the hair itself is just so thin. Look how that ends there. So obviously to colour my hair is not a great idea, so this is why, another reason why I try and master matching my own hair colour. So I am working with very little hair. At the back it's a little bit thicker, and that's why I've attached some tape-in hair extensions. Now, as you can see, I couldn't go out the door with it like this. This looks ridiculous, you know, sort of really thin, horrible hair here to rather thick, long hair there. That doesn't look right, but I've taped these in for the purpose of matching up my topper, and when I don't want to wear my topper and I'm in a rush in the morning and we're dashing out the door for the school run, I can just pull nice and softly my hair up, and I've got a nice high pony. Just gently, not pulling too much obviously because I'm trying to take care of the hair underneath, or I can tie it in a nice loose bun, and there we are. Within a few seconds I've got a hair up style that will do nicely for down the gym or teaching yoga. So often when I'm in my yoga class, I'll see ladies with beautiful hair, any kind of length really. If it is long, they'll walk into yoga, it might be down and flowing around their shoulders, and they pull it up, wrap it in a bun, and off they go. I want that. I can't have that with my natural hair, so I've tried to figure out how I can create that transition for myself, so I'm not dealing with, if I was to pull my natural hair up into this style, I've got about that much hair sticking out the back of my head and it looks awful. Nobody else probably cares, but I do, and my confidence is shot to bits if I'm dealing with that hair. So it's a little bit of manipulation and I've got a bun to work with. Okay, so this is the Claire Topper. Now again, bearing in mind that I have coloured this, so what we've got here is the central lace top. So these patches you can see is where I've coloured it on the top, but that does not affect the hair on the other side. Okay, so that is of no matter. If you do have it coloured, that's not going to affect the sides. So you've got this central lace here, and then you've got wefts around the edges. This is nice because it gives you a little bit of stretch. And then you've got your pressure clips, 4 of. Again, you can add clips if you feel you need to, but they work nicely for me, the 4 clips, and they're positioned just in the right place. The base is nice and sturdy. It's sturdy, it's not flimsy, but it is lightweight. Okay, and then with the lace, you've got a lace front as well. So there's about, I don't know, maybe 3 inches or so of lace front there. So I'll try and get that a little bit closer to the camera and you can see the lace front. And you can also see there that mine's got a jagged edge. Now the reason it's got a jagged edge is because I've cut it with shearing scissors as a jagged edge. You don't have to do that. You can just cut it straight with normal scissors, or you can use these. These are the shearing scissors. So they've got crocodile teeth either side of the scissors. And the reason I cut the jagged edge is because I do work with my front hairline. So when I'm sort of brushing the hair and trying to sort of mold it into the unit, it just allows that hair to fit in a bit better. I find that it's a nice little trick to have. So yeah, there we are. It just cuts it a little bit jagged, if you can see there, and that works quite nicely for me. All right, the lace top is very good. You know, you can see my skin, my finger through that there. With the colours on the top, you can see I've got a few what look like highlights there. I didn't highlight those. I just pulled them away from the hair when I was colouring it, wrapped them in some tin foil from the kitchen to ensure I didn't colour those sections, and coloured around them. Again, you might want a professional hairdresser to do that, but what that then left me when I washed the hair was those highlights. Now obviously to get the whiter blonde rather than the yellow blonde, I used a product called Colour Freedom, and it's the white blonde formula. Now this comes brilliant blue, so you apply it to the damp hair. So I just applied it to the blonde sections, including the little bits I'd left on the top, and it took seconds for it to start changing colour. It kind of works a bit like a toner, or even maybe a purple shampoo, in the sense that it's a good idea to keep an eye on it, because the false hair, even though it's Remy human hair, is still going to colour or change colour quicker than your natural hair would. So I wouldn't slap this stuff on and then leave it. I'd keep an eye on it, because I noticed within a minute or two that the yellow was starting to fade and I was getting this whiter blonde. So I rinsed the ends to see if it had taken, which it had, and then I washed it out. And I got this lovely whitey coloured blonde there. So as you can see, the roots are sort of coming through, and I left the blonde sections, which works really nicely. And then at the base, at the back here, this is where I attached a few tape-in hair extensions. So they were about just filling this section a bit more. I mean, don't get me wrong, when you get the unit, there is still plenty of hair at the back here. So if you've got existing natural hair from the crown downwards, you're not going to need to add any extra density or volume to the hair, whereas I did need to. So I got my thinking cap on, and I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll attach just a couple of tape-in hair extensions there. Obviously, putting any strain on the hair is going to affect it. It's not like putting them in your natural hair because it's not moving around as much. However, you know, that's a risk you take through your own choices there. But that works nicely for me. And because they're tape-in extensions, they lay nice and flat, and it doesn't affect any bumpage in the actual cap itself. Okay, so that's how I constructed and put this together. With the tape-in extensions, because the natural hair that came with the topper was 20 inches long all around, I added 22-inch tape-ins, which gave me this bit more length at the back there, and sort of a tapered end. And then what I also did is I took my cutting scissors and just feathered it out a little bit, or layered it out down the front. And I also took my thinning scissors, which are similar to the shearing scissors, but they're jagged on the bottom and straight on the top, and I just thinned out the front just a little, just a tiny bit, just to make it look a bit more natural for me. So that is the finished product of my customization. Again, I would personally, if you have no experience with hair, take it to your hairdresser. Tell them what you want, and they will be able to help you out there. Yes, there will be a charge for their service, of course, but customizing this topper has made all the difference to how I feel about wearing it. If I was to wear it in its natural state, which was absolutely beautiful, don't get me wrong, but I would have looked completely different because I don't have yellow hair, and I don't have the same colour from the root all the way down to the tip. My hair is dark blonde from the root quite far back, like this balayage, until the ends where there's some tips of blonde. So I worked quite hard at getting this the right shade for me. So that's that. It's lovely and lightweight. I hardly feel like it's on my head. As you can see, I've got very thin hair at the top. The clips they're not too much. They feel just right. Some pressure clips can be a bit these ones have got really long legs on them, if you can see. Some have got quite short legs. These have got quite long comb legs on them, and for some reason they work really well with thin hair. And the other thing to consider is that when you want the clip to clip down, you want it to lay flat, and these do that. They lay very flat. So that is that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to work through some hairstyles. I don't always want to have my hair down with a topper. I want to be able to wear it up. That's more practical for me. One thing I found with wigs was that it was very, very difficult to put a wig up. So this is the wonderful thing about toppers, is that you can incorporate your own existing hair and have updos with them. So I'm just going to use my mirror here and just reposition, and I want to set it back just a little bit, so maybe 1.5 inches, so that I've got some hair to work with from my natural hairline. And then I clip the front clips in first so they feel nice and secure. And then I'm pulling just slightly and then clipping the back, and again at the other side and just clipping the back there. So now it feels nice and secure. And there we have seconds, and I've got lovely hair. It feels wonderful. It feels so nice to literally take no time at all, and I have once again hair on my head.